It's no longer appropriate for me to do this kind of content because I am working with a lot of confidential information, a lot of privileged information, and basically I've reached a point where like 90% of what's in my head is not for sharing. And that was always inevitable given that I'm working in mental health, I'm working in community, and I'm working with the cultural healing and everything. So the reason why I did start this journey of documenting what I'm thinking and feeling in the present moment, which included like what I'm learning and how I'm experiencing things and how I'm making sense of the different experiences that I'm having. Like it was just a big exercise in being able to articulate myself and be very clear about, you know, like what's inside of me, being able to express that and it makes sense, not only to myself, but to anybody that I come into contact with. So I've been developing these communication skills and now I can enter into any kind of environment with all kinds of people and I can establish connections really quickly. And I make sense to them, they make sense to me. We build these bridges. And that's part of the reason why I'm in this position where I actually have to step back from YouTube because I've established so many like very valuable and important connections now. I need to honor those. So not come on here and like I've always made an effort to only tell my story. So even though it's impossible for an individual person to have their story isolated from the rest of the world, like I'm interacting with other people. If I'm talking about a lesson that I've learned, very rarely is it going to be an experience that I had completely alone. Like there's always like we're community-based beings. Like our interactions are everything. Like social connection is everything. So, but I've always made an effort to only tell like my story and talk about like my perspective, my internal experience of what I've experienced, and I never name names or talk about like confidential information or privileged information or yeah, I just really make an effort to uh, yeah, not tell anybody else's story on their behalf. Like I really am mindful of that. Maybe I've made some mistakes, but yeah, it's reached the point now where it, like I don't feel like I feel like the amount of effort that it would take to continue to translate the experiences that I'm having into a respectful conversation with no script and no planning, totally candid, without anybody else's stories coming through. It's like impossible now. And some of the stuff that I'm dealing with is like really vulnerable stuff, and it's very important stuff. So I have some goals that I really want to focus on. Like I don't. Another part of this is the videos actually do take a considerable amount of mental energy and time, and like that mental energy and time has increased the more that I've been involved in things where I've got to actually reflect a lot before I record the videos, even though it's unscripted and it's totally candid. I actually do have to think about it quite a bit. Like, how am I going to talk about this without talking about this? If that makes sense. Like, how am I going to talk about dealing with um, any of this stuff? And then my fix for that most recently, you would have seen if you've been keeping up with the videos, was to go back to topics and subjects that have nothing to do with what I'm actually experiencing right now. But that was creating a whole another issue where I was like distracting myself from what's in front of me. So I don't want to be doing that. So essentially, I just need to stop the videos for a while and go on a bit of a journey that is really internal. And a lot of that needs to happen invisibly. Like I can't continue to translate it all. It's like just too much effort and energy that's being wasted, for lack of a better way to say that, in just like I'm constantly getting analytical about it and I'm getting into my head about stuff the way I really need to be intuitive and I need to be like in the present moment, not thinking about like how to articulate this later, or how am I going to explain this, or how am I going to document this, or how am I going to keep track of this? You know, all of these questions, it's like really emotionally and mentally laborious. Like it's just draining. And I've been aware of this for a really long time. I've been aware that like I cannot continue this forever. And you know, I've been saying since the beginning, I'm not a YouTuber. Like that's not my thing. Like I'm not here to create content. I'm not here to like go hire a content team and like do all that and get like millions of subscribers and create this whole brand and stuff. I just wanted to practice articulating myself and maybe relate to some people like me along the way and assist them with a few little bits and pieces and just contribute a little bit, you know? And I think leaving the content library as it is, because it contains a lot of like early exploration and learning from a very real perspective. Like I wasn't hiding my mistakes or my flaws or my weaknesses or anything. I was just like, if I had a problem, I would talk about it. And I'd go like, this is something that's not working for me right now. And I would just talk openly and sort of figure it out live and then post that. Like a lot of the content is like that. So I feel like the content library still stands as like a valuable resource, but I feel like I'll grow a lot faster if I actually stop making content. And maybe in the future, I come back with a totally different perspective, maybe in a totally different format. Like I need to go and experience more things and learn more things and generate more value. And what I mean by generate more value is like once I have the experience and the knowledge and I've actually allowed myself to pour myself into a journey, I feel like I can come back later and share the wisdom and the knowledge and the experience that comes from the journey. Like I had this dream that I could do, like share the journey as it unfolded. But it's actually like so incredibly challenging to do. Like a few of the people that watch these videos, especially in the early days, they were inspired to do their own like video journal sort of thing. And a lot of the feedback was it's incredibly hard to just record yourself for 5 minutes speaking honestly about what you're thinking and feeling. And I pushed through all that resistance in the early days and got to a point where I could talk indefinitely and just have this flow of consciousness and just allow myself to express. It would be great if the kind of things that I was doing was like running like a lawn mowing business or something that like there's no sensitive information involved and I could just talk completely freely. I feel like I'd make a great YouTube channel and a great like brand and business around like things that didn't involve sensitive information. But I think there's a reason. Like I've been so frustrated looking at this space on social media and I'm like, why is there nobody like me? Why is there nobody talking about these sensitive topics like mental health and disability and, you know, youth justice stuff and like all of this really like challenging, like social community based stuff. Like, why is nobody doing this? But, you know, I've been doing this since 2017. I started in like 2015, like dabbling. And then 2017, I started the daily video diaries where I really committed to like, I'm just going to express what I'm thinking and feeling. And I'm going to get good at like articulating stuff. And in all that time, it's been years and years. Like, what do we like? I don't even know how many years that is, man. I'm finally like, okay, I see why people don't do this. And then I'm looking at more established, like credible professionals in the space that do have like the years of knowledge and study and experience and the way that they talk. And I'm like, okay, what's missing is me to just actually go apply myself in the community and pour myself into some roles and learn through it. And then once I actually have the knowledge and experience and everything, then I can make much more valuable content. If I even choose to make content, I do feel more and more that the one-to-one, like working with a person one-to-one, is like where it's at for me. Even when I do assist people, I provide them with resources and all of the things that they need to make something happen, and they still aren't able to make it happen because, I don't know, for whatever reason, like, it's just, this is not what I want to focus on anymore, like talking and expressing and communicating. Communication was a really important skill. I'd encourage everybody to develop it in some way, whether you do it through writing or speaking, or, like any medium that you choose, like even songwriting, art, like a way to express what you're feeling so that other people can see what's inside of you, is like a fundamental human need and skill. Like a skill worth building is communication. But I got heaps of places where I can build this muscle now. Like, I'm communicating in a lot of different spaces. Maybe I will start to be like delivering talks at like meetings and all these different things. But I can't be thinking about another piece of it, of course, as well, is like having a huge content library on YouTube with your most vulnerable, like, past experiences. I'd like to cut that off too, because I'd just like to go a few years without like being that exposed and that vulnerable, and see how that goes as well. Because I kind of take it for granted that everybody else on the planet, generally speaking, is just free to present themselves to the world however they would like to be. But I've kind of got this like everybody can see my heart and soul if they want to. Like, you just log in and like there it is. And that's huge. And I guess the last like 7-8 years of experiencing that level of vulnerability has created an experience for me that like you couldn't simulate in many ways. Like, just true vulnerability, man. Like wearing your truth and like having it almost like on a billboard day to day, like for the world to see. One thing that it definitely did do was it made me, like I had to have integrity. Like I couldn't pretend, and that was really valuable. I believe that will stay with me, like that feeling, because it's a feeling like I am transparent, like everybody can see inside me. And I don't know why I created that in the beginning, but I did, and it's here now. Like, but it's like a scary thing, if you just imagine right now, whoever's watching this, like if people could just see all of your thoughts, feelings, and experiences for the last 5 years, they could just log in and just see all the stuff that you went through, or like all the stuff that you articulated, that you expressed about what you were going through. Anybody could just look at it. Like, it's pretty intense. So I'm gonna let that go. I'm gonna create, like, I'm just gonna, that whole, all of the things that like, and there's some things I don't even know what's gonna change when I let this go. Like, I don't even know how much it has actually been impacting the bigger picture of my life. Maybe it's been a huge blockage for me. But I do feel very confident and sure that this is my next step. Stop making content. I'll still make content about various topics for other organizations and things, but my own personal thoughts, feelings, and experiences, I don't have to do it anymore. So I guess this is like goodbye, but also it doesn't mean I'm gone. It just means like you have to come find me. Like, send a message, leave a comment. Like, I'll still be here, but I just won't be consistently showing up, because the work that I need to do next requires me to, just be like, put myself into that work 100%. I can't put 50% into this and 50% into the work that I'm doing anymore. It's big, man. There's no call to action for this, it's just like, don't hesitate to share, like, what you've learned, or what you're gonna miss, or like any feedback over the whole picture over the last however many years it's been. And don't be a stranger. Like, like I said, like, you can still send a message, and I still exist. Like, I won't stop being online completely. It's just I'm going to be focusing on very different things.